Hello, BookTube. I have a tag for you on a gray, drizzly Saturday instead of Tag Tuesday. I was tagged by Randy Ray, the literate Texan, on the Watching BookTube tag. And at first, I sort of chuckled to myself and thought no more about it. Because in my mind, I thought, you've done the Watching BookTube tag. Then I realized it was 5,561 videos ago that I did the Watching BookTube tag. That's a long time and a lot of videos. It's unrealistic to expect that anybody's going to remember that. Plus, it'd be neat to have two of these on the record. I've actually thought about redoing a few tags just to see how different my answers would be. So this is all about your relationship with BookTube. It's a really good tag. I don't have any idea how old it is or who made it. I did it once upon a time. If I remember, I'll leave a link to my original version of this so that I guess you can see my old dogs for nothing else. So question number one is, how many channels are you subscribed to? I know there's a way on YouTube to count, to get an actual count of these, but I've lost track of what that way is. It's a lot. It's hundreds and hundreds of channels, and more all the time. Whenever the algorithm serves me up something that seems interesting or done with intent, I subscribe right away. I don't just like the video or just watch the video as a ghost. Instead, I subscribe so that I won't have to remember to check back in on that person if they're doing more good stuff. So I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot. Question number two is, when do you normally watch BookTube? Well, I have a work setup. Not when I'm here in the little book room, but when I'm out on the fainting couch, I have a work setup where I have, the keyboard that I'm working on, and then right next to me on a box set of books on Shelby Foot, there is a screen playing, usually an iPad, playing things. And it's there for me to just reach out a hand and look something up or whatnot if I don't want to break a connection that I've got on the main computer. So that fills the day. Absolutely fills the day. While I've got that screen right there, and I'm typing right here, so it can go through all of my BookTube subscriptions in a given day. The only problem with that arrangement is one that I've mentioned before regarding my relationship with BookTube, which is that since it's on a screen over here and I'm working here, that is very conducive to watching what everybody's doing and noticing it and thinking about it and maybe even regurgitating it in last week in BookTube, but it's not good for commenting. I can reach over and just very casually hit the like button, but it's much harder for me to go on there and comment. I have to stop what I'm doing and type a comment on the tablet. And that really cuts down on my commenting, and that's not good. I know that a lot of people, the standard condescending, withering line from so-called content creators on YouTube is, don't look at the comments section. Don't feed the trolls, is what those two things are conflated and were conflated by booktubers in the olden days at the beginning of BookTube. Big booktubers would often say, in the hearing of people who did not think they needed to worry about, that they would say, don't look at the comments section. And others would chime in, yeah, don't feed the trolls, meaning that they see those two things as the same. Of course, that isn't true. It might be true elsewhere on YouTube, but it's not true in this little corner of BookTube. So getting comments on your video, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. I assume it means a lot to other people. And it's the one thing that setup doesn't really facilitate. I really need to work out an alternative there. But that's all day long. In answer to the question, I suppose I should answer the question. That's all day long. While I'm working, when I'm not making my own videos or canoodling and walking with the bean, then I'm writing, and for the bulk of the day, and that is perfect for having BookTube right on there. It's not. I silo it off. It's not bleeding into my concentration at all. Question number three: how do you balance BookTube watching, reading, and making your own videos? The balance isn't terribly hard for me. I write for a large chunk of every day, and when I'm not writing, when I break from that, often it's not a break, often it's the background noise, I will read. I will just drift from the one to the other. I'm writing something, it's boring, I'm starting to feel the keel grate against the coral, so I'll just stop. and lean back, take the bean up on my chest. She barely even wakes up anymore when I do that, and just read for a couple of hours. So that balance between reading and watching BookTube, because when I do that, when I stop the writing and lean back, I stop the BookTube playing. That sort of works itself out organically. And then there's an inorganic reading adjunct that has been true for me from time immemorial, which is that at midnight I stop everything and just read. That just so the whole day, often I will do that earlier. Often I will say, this has been a bit of a day. I'm going to start reading at 8 or 9. But at midnight, certainly, everything stops. No outside, no checking with any kind of emails or anything like that. No watching anything, no nothing like that. Just reading. So, it's easily possible for me to make that balance. And then with making videos you like watching and videos, making your own videos. My videos don't take a whole lot of effort to make. I don't edit my videos. I don't script my videos. There's almost no preparation necessary. These are conversations, in my opinion. What I do, how I view my BookTube channel is that it's a series of conversations. Almost never otherwise. So it only takes the amount of time that it takes to actually film the video, to actually have the camera running. Is exactly as long as the making of any video takes for me. So it's not even with all the videos that I make, that's not much. That's not asking much of a day. Question number 4 is there a difference between videos you like watching and videos you like making? There's usually not. The ones that I most like watching are the ones that are informal, conversational. You are not trying to put on a show. And you're not lying, especially you're not lying to me. Which means, that I'm irritated a lot with videos that I watch outside of BookTube. In the greater YouTube ecosystem, lying to your viewers is absolutely normal. You'd get weird expressions from so-called content creators if you said, well, okay, but what you just said wasn't true. They'd look at you weird, like, of course it wasn't true. So there's a great similarity between the videos that I watch and the videos that I make, except for one. There's one kind of video that I absolutely love watching that I don't make because I can't do editing. I haven't taught myself to do editing. I don't want this. If this becomes work, I won't do it. I know that about myself. And I worry that if I introduce editing of any kind into this procedure, it will become work. How many booktubers have I heard from who tell me horror stories about how, sure, shooting the video, that's one thing, but then what about the hours and hours and hours of editing? Oh, no. I don't know why anyone would do that. But I certainly wouldn't do that. So there really isn't an easy way for me to make one kind of video that I really love is a vlog video where people will film a bit of a day or a thought they had on a Monday, and then a bit of Tuesday and a thought they had then, and a bit of Wednesday and a little reading progress that they've had on Wednesday, and then a bit of Thursday, and then at the end of the week they mush them all together into a vlog with, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, things like that throughout the video. I love watching those. People go out and about, they walk in their neighborhoods, you see little glimpses of their dogs or their cats, and I don't know how to do that. I have complained about this to other booktubers and so some YouTubers. One YouTube friend of mine said, well, okay, I could see where you might want to do that kind of video if you didn't make 3 videos a day, but you make 3 videos a day. You're essentially vlogging anyway. I hadn't thought of that. There might be some truth in that, but I see those videos and wish that I could make such a thing. Let's see here. Question number 5 is, who is the first booktuber you subscribed to, and do you still watch them? The first booktuber I subscribed to, I think, was Lindsay Ray, who you'd have to have been on BookTube for a long time to remember Lindsay Ray. She's terrific. Absolutely terrific. Doesn't make videos anymore. I had a very brief return to BookTube, but has not returned since. It's like I always mention. When you leave BookTube, when you stop doing this, that space that you opened to do this closes over. It really does. It sort of morphs back to, you wouldn't know. There wouldn't even be a scar anymore. You would look at, a month later, you would look at your day and say, where did I ever find the time to do BookTube? The solution, the answer to that is that when you started your BookTube channel, you were really excited for it. And the excitement is what opened the window. And when that excitement goes away for whatever reason, or you get distracted by real life and that window closes, you're not going to have the same I'm trying something new excitement that you did the first time, because you already know what you're getting into. That's why so few returns to BookTube are successful, I think. But Lindsay Ray doesn't make videos anymore, and so many other people don't. Oh my God. If I could remember how to look through my subscription feed, I'm sure that it would be littered with BookTube channels that don't exist anymore. And those are just the ones where the creator has stopped making videos, but has kept their channel up. There are God knows how many more, dozens and dozens of channels where the creator stopped making videos and took their channel down, so that I would never know, unless I went back in my journals or whatever. Let's see here. Question number 6. Who is the most recent booktuber you subscribe to? I'll leave a link down below. I believe his channel's name is Grandpasbookclub. I think I've only watched a few of his videos. He's an Australian booktuber. And from the few videos that I watched, I gather that his principal community, at least for now, has been on TikTok. And that he is experimenting with BookTube rather than the reverse. And the algorithm served me up a video of his. There was a little blip of a non-news story, a social media news story that went the rounds a couple of weeks ago, where women acted appalled to learn how often the men in their lives think about the Roman Empire. There were a whole bunch of videos. I think half of them were staged, where the woman asked the man at the kitchen counter or in front of the TV, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And sometimes the man will turn to her and say, I don't know, once a week, a couple times a month. And one guy at a kitchen counter turned to her and very sort of in a combination of embarrassed and eager said, a few times a day. And in all of those videos, the women howl with outrage and shock. What on earth are you talking about? This is not possible. Why on earth would you be thinking about the Roman Empire all this time, all that time? Why would you be doing that? Now, I think that internet meme blip was mostly artificial, just like the meme blip from 2 years ago of people hotly debating the color of the dress. I think most of these things are designed to drive engagement from the monkey part of the brain. But this YouTuber, this booktuber, this TikToker, did a video called The Roman Empire, Only It's Queer Literature. He said, all these guys out there thinking about the Roman Empire, what if I did something like that, only my Roman Empire is queer literature? And he goes through a whole bunch of books, talks about them, wonderfully engaging. I'll try to remember, I can link to his channel, but I'll try to remember to link to that video. That video really, that's what the algorithm suggested, that video to me. And I was hooked. That was enough for me. Question number 7 is share an old favorite booktuber. Well, it doesn't get much older than Mark Richardson, do they? Mark Richardson is still on BookTube, still makes videos from time to time. Like so many people who have sidelined his main gush of BookTube creativity, he's done it for the most acceptable reason of them all, which is that real life came calling. He's a very busy guy. But he's still on BookTube, so he still counts. And then question number 8 is share a new favorite booktuber. I don't know if favorite's the right word, but I guess I can recommend Joe Spivey here. He's new, definitely. He's very bookish. I did a chat with him here on the channel. I'll try to leave a link to that as well. Question number 9 is, what is one of your BookTube pet peeves? I have many, many, many BookTube pet peeves. From time immemorial, I have kept a list of Steve's pet peeves, just in general, about life, about the people in the world, just a general list of pet peeves. But in the last 6 years, I have also developed a list of Steve's BookTube pet peeves, and it's enormous. It's got 100 items on it at least. So picking one, oh my God, ostentatious slurping from mugs, or in the worst cases, eating on camera. You're on camera. I know I just described these things as conversations between friends, but you're on camera. Okay? Yes, it's conversations between friends, but a large number of the people watching your channel are not even making themselves known to you, much less becoming your friend. So there is an element of entertainment here. There is an element of professionalism involved. I know I'm the last person in the world to talk about professionalism, but Take care of your bodily needs before you film your 10-minute video in that week. Honestly, if you're making a 10-minute video a week, surely you can apportion your eating, drinking, and urinating time for when you're not on camera in front of 100 strangers. So that would be one pet peeve. Kindly take care of your bodily functions before you're on camera. I don't want to be watching you noisily slurping from something or chewing on something or hold on a second, I'll be right back, and I hear you shuffling around while I stare at your pet piranha. It'd be Steve pet peeve number one. Or not maybe number one, but definitely one of my pet peeves. Don't have an ominous door behind you in the video. Doesn't matter if it's open or closed. If it's closed, your viewer is going to be thinking the whole time, I don't know what that door is. What if it opens? If it's open, your reader is going to be thinking the whole time, I don't know what that door is. What if something creeps through it? So don't do that. Just don't do that. You have 360 degrees to pick a background. I'm willing to bet that you have a background that doesn't have a creepy, ominous door. Don't have creepy, weird, miscellaneous junk in the background of your video. The type of thing, books is one thing, sure, but car parts, cracked, decrepit old dolls from the 1920s, stacks of decals or whatever. If you have a weird knickknacks in the background, I'm going to be concentrating on them when I want to be concentrating on you, and so on and so forth. I have a few. Question number 10 is, what have you learned from watching other booktubers? Oh my. I have learned so much, and I still learn every day so much. I have learned so much about having a thicker skin for being online, for instance. And how many times over the years I've read something, got a comment from something, and it's outraged me. I go to the friends that I've made through BookTube and say, this is outraging me. I've lost track of how many times those friends have said, it really shouldn't. You're overreacting to this. Believe it or not, that has happened many, many times, and they haven't all been Mark Richardson. There are plenty of other people who've said that. Proportion, I guess. This weird sense of this weird thing that we do. Right? We're talking to each other. We're having conversations about books and our lives and what's going on in our lives. But we're also making videos for strangers. Those two things are happening at the same time. A lot of people comment on my videos. A lot of people email me about the day's videos. But every once in a while, I look at the viewership figures. Certainly, I am getting only a tiny fraction of reactions from the people who actually watch the videos, the vast majority of whom never contact me in any way whatsoever. So, this is a weird thing that we're all doing. I feel certain that if we were to have a BookTube reunion in 30 years, we would look back and think, wow, that wasn't just a social fad. We all do social fads or watch them as other people do them. But we were involved in that. We were as close as normal people ever get to being minor TV celebrities, where there are a whole bunch of people who watch our videos who do not believe we're real, do not believe we're real people, and they hear us say we're just talking to each other, but they don't believe it. I'm sure that if you do BookTube, I'm sure that you occasionally get a brush by from one of those people. Some comment that could only come from someone who doesn't think you're real, thinks you're something on TV. We all are doing this. In 30 years, we're going to look back and say, oh, wow, this is weird. How did we all do that? What fun it was. But still, what a strange thing it was. And so other booktubers, oh my God, I learned so much from them. In addition to, this is not even talking about books. I've mentioned this before many times. If you're watching someone, you're watching their channel. It doesn't matter if you know them. It doesn't matter if you've voxered with them or you've met with them. They've come to Hyde Cottage for wine and calzones. It doesn't matter even if you get the impression that they would like you. I have a strong suspicion that the kid who does Grandpa's Book Club would not like me. I think all of the reasons why he would be fraudulent, but I get the strong suspicion that that is true. I get the strong suspicion that a lot of the... It doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say, because you watch these channels, whether you like the person or not, whether you think they would like you or not, you watch them and you get to know them. Okay, so what sorts of things are you noticing about your books? What sorts of things bother you about your books? Where are your red lines? Where are your auto buys? And why? Why is this happening? And I have learned so much from that process that I would never learn from reading a Goodreads review or an Amazon review. I don't know the person who's making that review, but in a parasocial kind of distant way, except for those of you, the steadily growing number of those of you who have actually come here at Hyde Cottage. But aside from that, I do feel, in a way, parasocially anyway, that I am coming to know the people that I watch. To the extent where, if you hold up a book and I think, I know exactly what I think about this book, oh no, I read it 20 years ago, didn't do anything for me, I'm pretty sure I gave it a fair shake, so there's no reason for me to think about it again. And then suddenly this person who I've been listening to every week for a year will hold up that book and say, I just discovered this, and here's what I think about it, and I'll be pulled right in again to maybe learn more about that book. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I could go on the subject, obviously. But the last prompt is to tag some of your favorite booktubers. I'm going to do that. I'm going to tag a bunch of people. I'm not going to tag them in this video because I want to spread the love. I want to see who I will tag. But I will tag a bunch of people. The video, when it goes up, will have links. And I will link to the booktubers that I mentioned, or I'll try to remember to do that. So there you go. This is a watching booktube tag. I'm going to have to go back to 5,000 videos ago and see what my original one did. I bet I know. I'm not sure my answers, but I bet I know what the video will be like. I bet it will be a very different me. Softer spoken, quieter, gentler, maybe even gentler in appearance. A lot of you have commented on this, that when I was caretaking my old dogs, when they were slowly sickening, they were slowly aging, and I had gone from being their raucous knockabout friend to being their caretaker. And would soon, in the course of it's happened while I was making this video, while I was making this channel, I went from being their caretaker, where you never have a raised voice, no sudden movements, no nothing like that. Their eyesight's failing. They've long since passed the point where they can do anything wrong. They must only be loved. Any question of disobedience has gone out the window. You're just caretaking. And during the course of making this channel, I went from being a caretaker, very soft-spoken, in sweaters usually, to being a hospice worker, where they were no longer aging and failing, they were dying. And I look at some of those earlier videos when some of you point them out to me and realize, wow, what a difference. It wasn't me. I didn't notice that at first. Viewers noticed that and said, I think that's the reason why you're different then, is because you had a different relationship with the most important thing in your life. Whereas now, I have a dog, one dog only, and she's in the prime of her health. So I don't need to think about it at all. I don't need to act that way. And apparently, it wasn't any conscious decision. It just sort of happened. I'll have to look back at that video and see if my answers are the same. I'm wondering if I gave a different answer from my earliest BookTube watchers. As I watched a whole bunch of BookTube videos, BookTubers at first. It wasn't just Lindsay Ray. There were a whole bunch of others. Maybe I picked another one for the first BookTuber then. If I remember, I'll leave a link. But anyway, I want to thank Randy Ray, of course, who was not a glimmer in BookTube's eye when I first started doing this. I want to thank him for tagging me. It was a good idea to do anyway, because I can't expect anyone to go back 5,000 videos and look at something, or to remember every single one of those 5,000 videos. So it was good to do. It was good to do this all over again. I will tag a bunch of people, but I strongly encourage everyone else to do this. This is a terrific tag. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.